Vampires are dark and mysterious creatures that have been present in almost every culture around the world for centuries. The origins of vampire mythology extend from ancient Greece and Egypt to medieval Europe and beyond. In these ancient stories, it is narrated that the dead rise from their graves to drink blood and disturb the living. These beliefs emerged as a reflection of natural processes by ancient humans trying to understand death, disease, and decay. In the Middle Ages, vampires took on an even more terrifying and threatening aspect. In Europe, particularly during epidemics, cases of accusing the dead as vampires increased. In this period, there are many stories of vampire corpses being exhumed and destroyed. This shows how people of the time coped with unknowns and their beliefs about life after death. During the Renaissance and Enlightenment periods, vampire legends came into conflict with science and logic. In these times, a skeptical view of vampire beliefs developed, but these legends continued to be popular among the people. By exploring the origins of vampire mythology, how it took different forms in different cultures, and how it evolved throughout human history, it becomes understandable why these legends are so enduring. Vampires have emerged as a reflection of our fears lurking in the dark, and subjects consider it taboo, and over time have changed to occupy a significant place in modern culture. Vampires are not just dark figures in horror stories, but also hold significant places in many cultural areas, such as literature, cinema, and television. As vampire legends continue to evolve over time, interpretations of these mythological beings in different media have diversified. In literature, vampires began to gain popularity with Gothic novels emerging in the late 18th century. Bram Stoker's Dracula is a work that introduced the vampire myth to a wide audience and became one of the classics of the genre. In cinema, vampires have been a popular subject since the silent film era. Vampire movies have become indispensable elements of the horror and thriller genres and have been enriched with different interpretations and innovations over time. Vampires have also been a frequently explored theme in television series. These series delve into how vampires might exist in everyday life, their relationships with humans, and their internal conflicts. The cultural impact of vampires is not limited to the entertainment industry, but has also manifested itself in fashion, music, and many other areas of daily life. This section delves into the depths of the cultural impact of vampires, revealing how these figures have evolved over time and acquired different meanings in modern society. One of the most mysterious figures in vampire mythology is Vlad the Impaler, a historical personality with a chilling past. How did this ruthless warlord become the inspiration for the most famous of vampires, Count Dracula? Vlad the Impaler, who reigned as the Prince of Wallachia in the 15th century, was known as Vlad the Impaler. He became a figure of nightmares for many people. Bram Stoker, the author of Dracula, drew inspiration from this dark figure to create his own vampire. Stoker took the real story of Vlad the Impaler, mixed it with fantastical elements, and thus Count Dracula was born. Dracula not only drinks blood but also reigns over the night. Stoker skillfully combined Tepesh's cruelty and the vampire's tendency to drink blood to create a character that is both terrifying and mesmerizing. Since its publication, Dracula has changed the course of vampire stories. Stoker's work transformed the history of Vlad the Impaler and vampire legends into a modern narrative. Dracula serves as a bridge between the historical figure of Vlad the Impaler and modern interpretations of vampire myths. There's no need to go too far back in history to find accounts of vampire incidents. In the 19th century, an occurrence in the Ottoman geography made headlines in newspapers of the time. This chilling event, which took place in the Ottoman city of Ternova, was reported in 1833 in the Takvimi Vekayi newspaper. The article described how a witch, who suddenly appeared in the city, disrupted the peace and caused many people to flee in fear. At night, after the sunset, paranormal activities began to unfold in the city. Invisible supernatural entities entered homes, moved objects around, and even threw them at people. The townsfolk were so disturbed by these occurrences that they decided to seek help from a hunter named Nicola. Upon his arrival, Nicola used his magical tools to identify two suspicious graves, which he found belonged to two Janissary brothers named Livadi. He asserted that the bodies inside the graves were abnormal and demanded that they be exhumed, staked, and their hearts boiled in hot water. With the approval of the Ottoman authorities, the graves were opened, and it was discovered that the bodies had grown twice their normal size, with elongated hair and nails. Following Nicola's instructions, the Janissaries' hearts were removed, boiled, and their bodies burned to ashes. This incident has been regarded by some historians as propaganda against the Janissaries, and its authenticity remains a topic of debate. Nevertheless, the incident made quite a stir in the newspapers of the period. Certain medical conditions associated with vampirism can reveal the truths behind real-world vampire cases. For example, porphyria is a rare condition characterized by extreme sensitivity to sunlight and other symptoms on the skin. This disease could be connected to the sensitivity to sunlight found in vampire legends. Moreover, some psychological conditions and obsessions with blood could also be underlying reasons for vampirism behaviors. In some societies, vampire legends have turned into actual beliefs and spread through rituals and social norms. This was particularly evident in medieval Europe and some Eastern European countries. Exhumations and the destruction of corpses were recorded as part of efforts to prevent the return of vampires. Vampires, as mythological creatures, have always captivated the human imagination. Particularly, their supernatural powers make these beings both terrifying and fascinating. Superhuman strength. One of the most prominent features of vampires is their extraordinary physical strength. A typical vampire might possess the strength equivalent to that of 10 adult humans. This means vampires are powerful enough to break doors, uproot trees, and easily hurl humans. This power signifies that humans stand little chance in a show of strength against vampires. Superior speed and agility. Vampires are not only strong, but also incredibly fast and agile. A vampire can move at speeds that the human eye cannot follow, enabling them to easily catch their prey and quickly escape from danger. Supernatural endurance. Vampires do not feel fatigue or physical exhaustion. This allows them to hunt for extended periods and withstand harsh conditions. Hypnotic abilities and mind control. In some vampire legends, it is said that vampires can hypnotize their victims or control their minds. This ability facilitates their hunting and enables vampires to make humans act against their will. Transformation. In many vampire tales, it is mentioned that vampires can transform into different forms. The most common forms include bats, wolves, or mists. This allows vampires to hunt and escape stealthily. Characteristics like sensitivity to sunlight, lack of reflection in mirrors, weaknesses to garlic, holy water, and sacred objects balance out the powers of vampires. The features of vampires demonstrate how mythological creatures can be both frightening and impressive. Understanding how these characteristics have evolved over time and their place in modern popular culture helps us comprehend why vampires are so intriguing to humanity. Vampire mythology has emerged in different forms across many cultures worldwide. Each culture has created its unique types of vampires and legends. In this section, we will explore some famous vampire types worldwide and their characteristics. Nosferatu. Featured in German legends and cinema, Nosferatu has a different appearance from the classic vampire image. Characterized by long fingers, pale skin, and sharp teeth, Nosferatu lives in darkness and drinks human blood. Strigoi. Originating from Romania, the Strigoi can exist as living or dead vampires. Dead Strigoi rise from their graves to drink blood, while living Strigoi possess supernatural powers. These vampires typically target family members and acquaintances. Dhampir. In Balkan folklore, a Dhampir, the child of a vampire and a human, can hunt both vampires and humans. Dhampirs, often portrayed as vampire hunters, can live among human communities and possess supernatural powers. Akimu. From ancient Mesopotamia, the Akimu is a spirit that remains on Earth after death. These beings can drain the energy of living humans, making them ill. Akimus typically act out of jealousy and revenge. Chupacabra. Originating from Latin America, the chupacabra is known for drinking animal blood. This creature, which attacks small farm animals, is depicted with spikes on its back and sharp teeth. Aswang. Found in the Philippines, the aswang is a type of vampire that roams at night and preys on humans. It can transform into various animal forms and often targets fetuses and small children. These vampire types, each with different cultural backgrounds and beliefs, demonstrate the diversity and richness of vampire mythology. Each vampire type reflects the fears, beliefs, and traditions of its culture. This variety reveals how vampire legends have been interpreted and evolved differently worldwide. Vampires are dark and fascinating beings that emerge from the depths of the human imagination. Their stories tread the fine line between fear and curiosity, telling us that, even in darkness, the seeds of the greatest tales are hidden.